I created a brand new football league in Madden 24. Now I'll only have 5 years in order to win a Super Bowl. So with all that being said, if you're new here, consider subscribing, drop a like, and let's get right into the video. Okay, and as you guys can see here, we are the Oklahoma City Elks. Now I chose this team because they were the lowest overall, sitting at a 76 overall all around. But with us here in the division, we have the Monarchs, Pioneers, and Riverhogs. And as you guys can see, this is what the rest of the league is looking like. Yeah, there are none of the original teams left. It's all brand new teams, so this is going to be really fun and unique and interesting. So taking a closer look at the team, this is what we're working with. And as you guys can see right here, we actually have a superstar quarterback, which I'm going to promote him to a starter. Obviously, that's the right choice. Then we have a superstar wide receiver. However, I think he's like 30 or 31 years old, so we might look to move him here at the beginning. But this star receiver, he's 85 boosted. I think he's like 24 or 25 years old, so we're going to definitely keep him. And then the running back room could use an upgrade along with this offensive line. But I kind of like how we're starting off with a superstar quarterback because that means we don't really need to draft one. Now defensively, this is what the team is looking like. We have a free safety, he's a superstar, and I think he's relatively young, like 24 or 25 years old. The linebacking core is solid. We could probably use a better inside linebacker, but I kind of like how our safeties are looking. And look at the cornerback room. We have 2 superstar cornerbacks, maybe even 3 if this guy ends up being like a superstar or even just a star. But the defensive line really needs an upgrade because it's not looking too good other than this superstar defensive tackle. However, I'm really liking how this team is looking. Obviously, we need some upgrades, but it's not too much of a dramatic rebuild that we have to do here. Okay, if we could somehow get this trade in with the Houston Oilers, this would be some insane value. But look at this left guard's last name. I mean, that's just crazy to me. But let's see how close it is to getting done, and it actually gets done relatively easily. So I really like this upgrade for the squad. Okay, and I think the last trade that I want to make for season number 1 looks like this. We're going to be getting a star wide receiver, an Artie Madden, who's an 81, along with a hidden cornerback in John Baker and a 3rd round pick. Hopefully this can go through with our starting quarterback, and yeah, it's not really anything close. Maybe if we take away that 3rd round pick, we'll get a little bit closer. No, it doesn't look like that, and yeah, this is not going to be one that goes through. Now, if we could somehow bring in this superstar left tackle for our starting quarterback, well, he's going to be our backup quarterback, actually. That would be clutch, and it looks like we're really close on doing so. Okay, what if we add our backup left tackle to just get things done? And, like, we're just so close. Maybe an extra 7th round pick will get things done. And it looks like that's the case here. So we get a superstar left tackle. Probably going to slide him over to right tackle. But I'm liking the way this team is coming together. Okay, so this is what the team is looking like right now. It looks like we're a 79 overall across the board after all of these upgrades. But the offensive line is looking way better. I actually ended up keeping the left tackle here. I actually ended up keeping this Chad Kelly guy. I think it's Chad Kelly. I'm not really sure. Maybe Chris Kelly. Now I ended up keeping Chris Kelly here at left tackle and then moving Lynch over to right tackle. But it looks like we have some of the guys for the future up front, along with our quarterback of the future that I want to build around. But we do need to add some skill positions in these upcoming years and off season. So yeah, that's going to be the main goal for the offensive side of the ball. Now defensively, honestly, I like our secondary. I think it's going to be really good in like 3 years. And the linebacking core isn't too bad since we traded for this Roth middle linebacker, which he's really fast. I think he has like 90, 91 speed. But the defensive line needs work, especially the interior. However, we did get this right in 78 overall Hancock, and he looks like he'd be a solid addition as of right now. But I guess the only thing to do for season number 1 is to go ahead and sim to the playoffs and figure out what our record ended up being. Okay, and it looks like we ended up finishing 1-16. Did a lot worse than I honestly expected with this squad. But hey, we didn't really have any playmakers. Oh my gosh, look at our points per game. 14 points per game, and literally everything else we finished 32nd, especially on the defensive side of things. This defense was awful, but take a look at some of these abilities that we unlocked. We're up to an 81 squad. Maybe next year, if we can get some more weapons, everything will be just fine. Looks like our tight end ended up getting boosted up to a superstar. That's always nice to see, and our quarterback did develop just a little bit, but obviously he doesn't have the right weapons around him, so we're gonna need to upgrade that going into next season. Now defensively, oh my gosh, look at our secondary. Superstars all around. And our linebacking core, we got 2 superstars. Nick Roth and Bowles went up to superstar, and the defensive line didn't do too bad, especially Hancock. He went up to star. Even though it was a really bad defense, I feel like this could be good, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 seasons from now whenever all these guys end up developing. Now, it looks like we have a whole bunch of money, 217 million in available cap space. And yeah, it looks like we're gonna go ahead and use up a large amount of that money here in season number 1 in order to re-sign a lot of these guys, but I'm not gonna complain. I don't think that we're in that bad of a situation, especially for like a 1-16 team. We're not a terrible situation, honestly. Like, it seems like it, but I mean, honestly, we're really not that bad of a squad. We just need to develop just a little bit, and then things will be fine. Looks like we're gonna have to tag our franchise wide receiver. Don't really know why he didn't want to re-sign. I gave him a lot of money, but hopefully these other guys will re-sign, especially the guard that we ended up trading for, which again, I mean, look at that last name. That's insane, guys. So taking a look here at free agency, it looks like there's a lot of veterans that we could add to the squad here, but I don't really know if that's gonna be too beneficial for us. However, I do want to add a little bit of a better running back to the squad. Maybe this Raphael Hardy. He has 94 speed and he's a scheme fit. We could probably go ahead and add him for like a 2-year deal. Okay, we definitely need to add another wide receiver to the squad, maybe even 2 in free agency. And these are all the players I ended up bringing in free agency as season 1. I got a right guard, a couple of wide receivers, a halfback. The tight end was a nice addition as well, and then another defensive tackle and a punter, of course. But I think this is going to be all for free agency, so let's head over to the NFL draft. Okay, I was looking at the draft picks, but if we could end up getting a deal done like this, yo, that would be a huge fleece. Let's see if the number 1 pick can do that, and it does. So we literally just got a cornerback 1 who's a superstar, a wide receiver who's a star development, a right end who's star development, and a first-round pick next year. Yo, I will take that. And honestly, with our 2nd round pick, we could go ahead and take a chance on this Gio Williams guy. He looks all around solid. If he's hidden development, he would be crazy. And no, he's normal development. I don't know, some reason I just can't draft these ends. But we do have another 2nd round pick that we traded for earlier in this video. So I'm thinking we go ahead, bolster the defensive line again with this Damian Hyde defensive tackle. And again, he's normal development. I don't know, maybe this draft class is not good. So maybe that was a good call for me trading that 1st round pick away. A backup right guard here in the 3rd wouldn't hurt. Any hidden development. I like to see that little blue diamond right there with the question mark. Taking a look at our draft recap, honestly, our first 3 picks weren't all that bad. Well, these kind of sucked because they were normal developments. However, this right guard who's a backup is a 73 overall hidden. So that's something to look forward to. But other than that, nothing really crazy in this draft. Honestly, this team looks insane as of right now. I like our wide receiving core. We got some weapons for this young quarterback. He still has to develop, but he has superstar development, so it shouldn't really take that long. I like our tight ends. Our offensive line looks solid. Obviously, we could make some upgrades here. Now, defensively, I really like this squad, especially the secondary. I mean, look at this. Almost every single one of our starters is a superstar. This is actually crazy. Our defensive line could probably use like a really good guy, maybe a superstar X Factor in. Maybe that's the plan for next season, but I really like this young squad that we have here. So I think all that's left to do is actually to sim to mid-season because I'm kind of curious to see how the squad is doing. Oh my gosh, would you guys look here? We are 5-1. So we're doing a lot better than what I expected. I was honestly thinking that we were going to be like an 8 or 9 win team. I wasn't expecting 5-1 at this point, but yo, things are looking really good. Let's go check on the stats. I want to see how the players are performing, and it looks like our quarterback, honestly, he isn't doing that bad. 10 touchdowns to 1 interception so far. That is really good with 106 as his passer rating. Things are looking nice. I'm really liking how this guy's developing. Now, our rush game it's not bad. Maybe we could use a little bit of a better of a running back. Receiving, it looks like the ball is getting spread around, and it looks like this guy is actually getting a whole bunch of touchdowns. 4. The tight end is doing really good with 3 touchdowns. But I mean, let's go ahead, sim to the playoffs. We should be making the playoffs here by season number 2. If not, I'm honestly going to be really disappointed. Okay, and it looks like we sputtered into the playoffs at a 10-7 record. record. So we didn't finish that great, but we're still here in the playoffs, so I can't complain about that. We do play the Sentinels here in the first round. Hopefully we can get past them, but this was a great season all around. Let's see if we can pick up the win, and we'll end up losing by 3 points, 17 to 14. This was a success though. I can't really complain too much. We had a really good season and improved from obviously last year we were 1-16. Okay, Nate Merritt didn't have that bad of a season. 35 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 4,000 yards passing. That is a great season, but look at the sack numbers. He took 52 sacks. Let's get that a little bit lower, and we should be winning a lot more games next year. Looks like Raphael only finished with a little under 1,000 rushing yards on the year. He had 6 touchdowns. This backup guy had 5 touchdowns, so that's something to keep an eye on. Looks like our tight end actually finished first with 1,121 receiving yards and 12 receiving touchdowns, and the 2 wide receivers ended up finishing with 8 touchdowns with 857 yards and 736, but it looks like the ball was spread around evenly throughout the receiving core, and our sack numbers weren't really that good this year, but we don't really have that guy on the defensive line, so we're probably going to go ahead and try to upgrade that in the off season here. But the cornerback room, obviously the secondary I should say, was locked down this year. Now that is what I like to see. Looks like Nate Merritt moved up to a superstar X Factor, and so did our starting tight end. He moved up to superstar X Factor as well. So we've got some dogs here on the offensive side of the ball, but of course the offensive line is going to be the main concern this offseason, and maybe a better running back wouldn't be too bad. Ooh, and look at the defense. Oh my gosh, Nick Roth went up to superstar X Factor. Our strong safety went up to superstar X Factor as well, and so did that cornerback 1. He moved up to superstar X Factor. No one on the defensive line went up, so we really need to get like that really good profound pass rusher that can go ahead and wreck some games for us. But I'm really liking this core of guys. Let's obviously, of course, go ahead and accept Nate Merritt's 5th-year option. Now, I do want to bring back this wide receiver 1. Maybe sign him for a 3-year deal. Let's see if he does it, and no, he's going to go back and test free agency, but we can go ahead and let him walk. He didn't really have that great of a season. Our X-Factor strong safety wants to come back. He's 29 years old, but maybe we can offer him a 3-year deal. That wouldn't be too bad, and he accepts. Nick Roth, I would love to have you here for 5 seasons. What do you have to say? And he's staying with the team. That's good to see, but we really need this guy, Dom Drummond, to re-sign with us because we ended up trading our 1st-round pick in order to get him, and he's coming back. And looking at this free agency class, okay, it looks like we have a lot of solid players here. Okay, so I didn't really go too crazy in this offseason. I ended up bringing back the punter, and then I wanted to bring in another right guard who is just more of like a win now type of guy, but I think we're gonna be making a lot of moves during the draft. Yo guys, if we could get a deal like this done, because remember we have 2 first-round picks, like this would absolutely be insane. We get the pass rusher, a halfback, and a nice solid defensive tackle for our 1st or 2nd, and then a backup right guard that we're not really using, and it kind of looks like we're close. I really want this deal to go through, so we might have to go ahead and add in our other 1st-round pick, which honestly I'm perfectly happy with doing this. And yeah, we get that deal done, and it looks like we're gonna have a powerful squad right here. Obviously didn't really get to anything too crazy at the end of this draft. We basically traded away all of our top picks, and we had like a 3rd-round pick left, and it was a 71 overall, but not really gonna make it much of a difference because of our team and how good it is. But hey, why not show it off anyways? And in season number 3, would you take a look here? This team looks absolutely insane. Could probably use another really good wide receiver, but I'm really banking on this offensive line picking it up, especially with this superstar X Factor running back. If we could get the run going, that would be a huge weight lifted off of our quarterback's shoulders. And I mean, he always has the tight ends to throw to as well. But this is where we really made the upgrades. I mean, this defensive squad looks absolutely insane. We have the shutdown corners, we have the lockdown safeties. The linebacking core is looking really good, and the defensive line is absolutely insane. And we got our guy, we got our game record that can go ahead and put away a game in this 95 overall superstar X Factor end. But of course, all we have to do is sim to mid-season, and let's see how the team is doing. Okay, and looking right here, we are 4-3. Kind of wanted us to be a little bit better, but hey, we're 4-3 and we're still leading the division, so I guess we're not doing too bad. And taking a look at the stats at mid-season, 17 touchdowns to 6 interceptions for 2,200 yards. Yo, we're we're going crazy this year. And the run game has really looked to improve with 430 yards for 2 touchdowns. I would like to get the touchdown numbers up though. And oh my gosh, hold on, 9 yards is this guy's longest run of the season? Yo, that's really crazy. Nate Floyd is stepping up, leading the team with 610 receiving yards. I don't know what is up with our wide receiver ones. They just end up being down here on the depth chart. But our tight end is looking like he's having a really good season, almost 500 receiving yards for 7 touchdowns. And I mean, these guys aren't really having that crazy of a sack year, but it's opening up Isaiah Hancock, and he's getting a lot of one-on-one matchups, and he's making up for that with 7.5 sacks. But let's go ahead, sim to the playoffs, and hopefully make a Super Bowl run. Okay, and it looks like we ended up winning our division 11-6. We're here in the first round against the Mounties, and this is a winnable game for us. I mean, just look, we have an 87 offense, 88 defense, 87 overall all around. They have a better record than us, but I mean, I feel like we can win this game. Let's go ahead, sim, and see if we move on to the divisional round. And again, it looks like we are just a one-round wonder. I don't even know. Are we just not clutching the postseason? Who knows? It looks like we're gonna have to retool some things for season number 4. But I mean, honestly, yo, Merritt did really good this year. 40 touchdowns, 11 interceptions for almost 5,000 passing yards, and the sack numbers are down to 38, so that's really good to see. I expected a little bit more from our running back, but I mean, who knows? I don't even know with the run game this year. Now, we almost had 4 1,000-yard receivers, which is really crazy, but look at these guys' touchdown numbers. Nate Floyd had 12 touchdowns, and Jeremy Lowry had 15 touchdowns. Yo, these guys were going crazy all year. Okay, so this is what I was wanting to see. Steve Rucker, 10.5 sacks, and Timmy Landry with 9.5. This is what I was expecting whenever I picked you guys up in the offseason, and then the interception numbers are there as well. So all around, a really good season, but we just need to make a deeper playoff run. Ooh, and Nate Floyd went up to superstar for us. Really clutch for us. He could be a nice wide receiver 3. But I feel like we really need to get a wide receiver number 2, or maybe even a better wide receiver number 1. Now, defensively, I just feel like this is a really good squad all around. Maybe if a better defensive tackle shows up. Oh my gosh, we still have this guy I forgot about. And forget that, I just feel like the defense is really good. And yo, what is up with this backup guy? He's a superstar X Factor. What is going on with our team? I'm really liking this squad. Okay, so the defense really doesn't even need improvement. However, the offense could use some more pieces on the offensive line and then in the receiving room. But other than that, I feel like we could just run it out from every single year now. Okay, so I have some guys that I want to bring back and some guys that I kind of I'm willing to let go. First off, let's bring back our superstar right tackle, Chris Kelly. He's asking for a lot of money, but hey, we're willing to pay it here. And it looks like he's coming back, so that's really good to see. But let's go ahead and bring back this defensive tackle, 82 overall. I wouldn't mind bringing him back on a 2-year deal. That's not that bad, and he's gonna stay with the squad. Now, obviously, we want to bring back the big man in the middle, 87 overall, superstar X Factor, defensive tackle, Timmy Landry, and he's re-signing. That is good to see as well. Okay, here in free agency, signing a really good wide receiver is going to be crucial for us, but it doesn't really look like there's going to be that standout guy, so we might have to skip it and maybe make a trade during the draft again. So I think these are all the moves I'm going to end up making this offseason, bringing back our punter once again, and then adding 2 rotational tight ends for the squad wouldn't be that bad, but I mean, we really didn't upgrade anything that we needed to. Probably going to make some trades during the draft and see what we can get done there. Okay, call me crazy, but if this goes through, then we're absolutely insane, and it's really close, but I feel like this puts us over the hump. So let's go ahead and trade away all of our picks for this year and next season's draft. You know, we're gonna go out with a bang here, and let's get it done. It's official. These next 2 years are gonna be huge for us. And the draft recap, if any of you guys care to look at this, it wasn't really that great. A 70 overall wide receiver was basically it, except he does have 98 speed, so that's kind of insane. Okay, going into season number 4, I mean, look at this roster, guys. We're an 89 overall across the board. We got a true wide receiver 1 and a really nice wide receiver 2. Offensive line, again, looks really solid. I like our tight end room. We have a really nice tight end room. Our quarterback is just crazy. He's super good. We have a really good halfback as well. Now, get ready for this. The defensive side of the ball is absolutely insane. This defensive line looks crazy, and the linebacking core is insane. Yo, this entire defense is insane. So if we don't win a Super Bowl in these next 2 years, I'm gonna be really let down. But let's go ahead, sim to mid-season. Hopefully we're like 6 wins, 6 or 5 wins, I'd say. Okay, we're sitting here at 4-2, leading the division. Yo, the division has actually been really competitive this year. We're sitting atop at 4-2. Monarchs are 4-3. Riverhawks are 4-3, and Pioneers are 3-4. So then we could be in for a tight finish here. But look at Nate, my guys. 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions for 1,455 yards. Antonio Simpson has kind of been disappointing, if I have to say so. 341 yards for 3 touchdowns, averaging just 56.8 yards per game. I don't really know what's going on receiving wise. It looks like our top 2 guys don't even score touchdowns. It's mainly our tight end and wide receiver 3 that do all of the work in this offense, so that's kind of weird. But look at the sacks number. Look, Timmy Landry, 8 sacks, already at the midway point. Solomon Ware has 4 sacks. I'd really want our left end to get more than 1.5 sacks. Come on, my guy. I'm expecting a lot more out of you, and then we only have 1 interception on the season, so defense has to pick it up. There's no excuse for the amount of talent we have there. But let's go ahead, sim to the playoffs, and hopefully we can end up with a first round bye. That would really help us out. Okay, it looks like we finished 11-6, but we didn't win our division. The Monarchs ended up beating us out for a 13-4 record, but I'll still take an 11-6 record. Now let's make some upgrades for the team, and let's see if we can finally move on to the second round. I'm really hoping we can do so. I mean, we got a 91 offense, 91 defense. We are a 91 overall all around. Let's see if we can go ahead and move on. And I don't even know, guys. I don't know what it is. We've lost 42-28. I'm not really sure what's going on. Look at this. The defensive pass yards per game, we're 32nd. Offensive rush yards, we can't run the ball. We can throw the ball, but I don't really know. I think that this defense is an elite defense, but maybe we have to switch up the playbooks. I'm not really sure. Nate regressed a little bit with 27 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, but this is still a really good season by a quarterback. And it looks like Antonio Simpson picked it up as well. Finished just under 1,000 rush yards, but he had 13 touchdowns, so that's a big improvement from last season. Now, interesting enough, we didn't finish with a 1,000-yard receiver, but we were relatively close with these 3 guys. And our tight end, of course, he's just a touchdown monster. He had 10 touchdowns this year. Percy Ford had 7, and then Dom Drummond only had 3. It looks like our defensive tackles had a really big year. 14.5 sacks, 12 sacks, and then 9 sacks from our end, Steve Rucker. I don't know. The secondary looks nice, but they just don't perform. Okay, we got a lot of guys to re-sign. The big ones being our quarterback and tight end, and maybe you can count the left end as well. Yo, we gotta sign some of these guys, especially the quarterback. Let's go ahead, throw you a lot of money, Nate. We need you back, and he's staying with the squad. That's good to see. We're probably gonna have to re-sign this tight end since our skill positions don't really perform, other than really our tight end and then like our wide receiver 1, and he's gonna stay as well, so that's really good. Then I think I'm gonna re-sign this cornerback. I don't really know. This secondary looks nice, but they just, I don't know, they can't cover anyone, I guess. So yes, we had to let some of our guys walk, such as our left end Steve Rutker. We couldn't really sign him back. Now we only have 27 mil in cap available. Do we go ahead and bring back Antonio Simpson? I think we might do it for like a 1-year deal. That wouldn't be too bad. And then maybe another wide receiver wouldn't be too bad. I think that one guy retired on us, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, it looks like we ended up bringing both of our guys in that we wanted. Let's go ahead, sim to the draft. We're probably honestly going to trade away our picks and try to get one more big receiver and make our last final run at a Super Bowl. Okay, let's try to bring in this wide receiver and quarterback duo. I'm not really sure if we can do it, and it's not looking good. Maybe we can just settle with the wide receiver right here, and we gotta add a little bit more. But honestly, this defensive tackle might land us both of these guys, and yo, it's still not doing it. So let's just go ahead, settle for the wide receiver, and it's a done deal. So I went ahead and simmed past the draft because honestly those guys aren't going to make too much of a difference, but this is what the offensive's looking like. Some solid wide receivers, we got our running back. Offensive line is pretty much the same. Basically the whole entire offense is pretty much the same other than our wide receivers. Now defensively, yeah, some of our guys regressed and we lost some of them to free agency, but I mean they should be good enough to go for this next year, which really only defensively we've struggled in this video. Not really sure why, especially with the talent that we have on this side of the ball. But I mean, let's go ahead, sim to the mid-season point, and then obviously we're gonna sim to the end of the year. Okay, so we're winning the division, but we're only 3-4. I don't even know what's going on with the Madden simulation. I feel like this is a really good squad that we've assembled. I mean, Nate has been doing pretty good, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Antonio Simpson has been doing a lot better, especially rushing yards per game has gone up. Our tight end is going off like usual, and then our wide receivers are carrying the squad. They're not doing too bad either. Honestly, it's probably defensively. Oh wait, no, it looks like we're having a good amount of sacks as well. Oh, 2 interceptions though at the midway point through 7 games. Come on, we're gonna need a lot more than just 2. But I guess all that's left to do is obviously sim to the playoffs, and then hopefully we can go on a miracle run, because that's what it's looking like at this point. And wow, that's a wonderful way to end things off. We finished 7-10. Honestly, the defense kind of improved, but yeah, it was normally just the same. I don't even know what happened this year. 92 offense, 90 defense, 90 overall all around, and I guess we just suck. I don't know, the Madden simulation sucks, or I suck at doing these rebuilds. I don't know, my voice is gone. It literally regressed with every single season that we did, but Nate did really good. 25 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I don't really know, I don't know, maybe it's the lack of a run game, but he almost finished with 1,000 rushing yards. I mean, the receivers looked good. We had 2 1,000-yard receivers. This Creighton guy finished with 13 touchdowns. The tight end finished with 8 touchdowns. Honestly, maybe it's the offensive line and our tackles, but I'm not really too sure. Maybe the defense as well, but it looks like we honestly had a pretty good season with Solomon Ware with 15 sacks, 7 sacks for Timmy. DeMarcus had 7. Hancock had 5.5. The interception numbers, we would like them to like go up a little bit, but I don't know. I guess it's just too much to ask for. Like, are you really gonna sit there and tell me, Madden, that this squad can't make the playoffs? I mean, it looks really, really good, and especially the defense. Look how many X factors that we have. I don't really know what else I could do. I tried my best. I don't know. EA is just messed up. I lost my voice in this video, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And if you did, then go check out my last video where we continued our extreme no money spent series. But with all that being said, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.